Hello there. I've got some material regarding the moon. The first is from a Muslim scholar, Sheikh Imran Hosein, who wrote a book, The Quran and the Moon, where he talks about the importance of following the cycles of the moon. I've taken from it some quotes from the Quran. In the name of Allah the Most Merciful, Bismillah, Ir-Rahman, Ir-Rahim. He it is who has made the sun a source of radiant light, and with that light the moon is illumined, and he has ordained phases of growth and of decline for the moon, so that you might have a system of time with which to compute the years, and to also measure time. None of this has Allah created without an inner truth. Clearly does He spell out these messages unto people of insight. He governs all that exists, from the celestial space to the earth, and in the end all shall ascend unto Him on a day the length whereof will be 1,000 years of your reckoning. The parable of those who are bent on denying the truth is that of the beast which hears the shepherd's cry, and hears in it nothing but the sound of a voice and a call. Deaf are they, and dumb, and blind, for they do not use their reason. Sometimes these days, when I'm speaking to somebody who does not understand me, I look at them carefully, and it's almost I can feel how their mind moves and how they experience life inside of them. And I see that they do not move inside the way that I move, and that they do not understand me. And that, I often get very angry at the incredible disturbances around me. But these people, they're going to be thrown in the grave. Ashes to ashes. What will be left of them? So I can see people more like there is a spirit there who is trying to communicate with the world through this vehicle. And they are in development. But it is like it says in the Quran, some people do not use their reason, or they are filled to the brim with false values. And it also says that clearly does Allah spell out these messages unto people of insight. The moon speaks to us, it acts upon us. Do we not feel it? Well, we all feel it, but some people live in a lie. And they're full of false values. They are prideful and egotistical and very badly educated. The rhythms of their life have been badly disturbed. And for many people, they will not make it. What else can you say? Now from Gurdjieff, he wants to talk about the moon. He says, the influence of the moon upon everything living manifests itself in all that happens on the earth. The moon is the chief, or rather the nearest, the immediate motive force of all that takes place in organic life on the earth. All movements, actions and manifestations of people, animals and plants depends upon the moon and are controlled by the moon. The sensitive film of organic life which covers the earthly globe is entirely dependent upon the influence of the huge electromagnet that is sucking out its vitality. Man, like every other living being, cannot, in the ordinary conditions of life, tear himself free from the moon. All his movements and consequently all his actions are controlled by the moon. If he kills another man, the moon does it. If he sacrifices himself for others, the moon does that also. All evil deeds, all crimes, all self-sacrificing actions, all heroic exploits, as well as all the actions of ordinary everyday life, are controlled by the moon. The liberation which comes with the growth of mental powers and faculties is liberation from the moon. The mechanical part of our life depends upon the moon. It's subject to the moon. If we can develop in ourselves consciousness and will, and subject our mechanical life and all our mechanical manifestations to them, we shall escape from the power of the moon. I remember there is a place where Gurdjieff praises certain tribes or nations for continuing to follow conception in springtime with the seasons. He does praise that, but here he's talking about the spiritual work of freeing yourself from the influences of the moon. And Sheikh Hosein, he talks about following the rhythm of the moon. So what's the connection between these things? Well, human beings are very strange because they neither follow the moon nor are they free of the moon. They live in a hypnotic state of false values and self-calming, of cowardice, delusion, confusion, which is very destructive. And I think I have found this myself in different ways, that in order to right the ship, you have to put yourself under the force of something larger than you, nature or the cosmos. And from there, you accept the regulation of that large force, of that large river, but of a river that reflects nature at some level. And once you are there, you will feel better. And from there, you can discover your real self. So you go from a world of delusion, but then you put yourself under a large river that comes from nature. And then when you feel more right in the head, then you can discover yourself. So that's the connection. This is from A.R.Orage. We are aware of the moon, whose esoteric name is still Lundaperza, and whom Taoist writes, that pale traitress the moon, the cause of all our woes. But Anulios is unknown to us. If the rationalist, psychologist, artist, writer or reformer feels in himself an ache for perfection, he pays no attention to it, or else he dreams that it would be cured by better art, better writing, better living conditions. They have been dreaming of this for thousands of years, in real remorse of conscience that follows a realization of unfulfilled being duty has no meaning for them. The Greek myths alone are full of analogies of a method for self-development, for perfecting oneself, the constant need for conscious labour and voluntary suffering. The labours of Hercules, the quest of the Golden Fleece, Ulysses, Perseus and the Gorgon, Ariadne. The war of the Greeks and Trojans for Helen. What does Helen represent in this system? And in the Mahabharata too, from whose inspiration the Greeks drew their myths. The ideas are set out far more elaborately. And this last section is from Gurdjieff on one of his car journeys. We drove another hour to look at the lake for 10 minutes. On the way back to Vichy, the mother had to stop the car because the child was sick from Armagnac and watermelon. The moon came up about 9, and he stopped the car to look and walk about. He pointed to the moon. I said, "You say in your book it is bad for us." "Not for everybody. For some it is very good." I asked what Germany is as an animal. American burro, French donkey, English sheep. He said, jackal. I am not God. I am only man. The only difference between me and other men is that I know more. Eat, eat, canary. I cannot eat like a tiger, Mr. Gurdjieff. Then eat like sparrow. You know that for canary, sparrow can be tiger. On the terrace of the cafe in Vichy, he said, "Now sitting here reminds me of 9 years ago when I am writing the chapter on good and evil. I wish no name I call. What that man name, please, made on Atlantis." I said, "Man's name was Makari, and he made a tablet in 2 pieces." "But what was name I call this tablet? Not memory you have. There was name. I made from 2 names I see on these 2 shops opposite here. Please, you call waiter, ask what name had shop 9 years ago." The waiter said, d'argent? Gurdjieff's face fell. The waiter returned to say he was mistaken. It had been boule d'argent. Aha, now I remember. Name of stones was boule marchano, and you sit in galoche. You only remember liquid, miss. And one last one from Ryokan. My hut lies in the middle of a dense forest. Every year the green ivy grows longer. No news of the affairs of men, only the occasional song of a woodcutter. The sun shines and I mend my robe. When the moon comes out, I read Buddhist poems. I have nothing to report, my friends. If you want to find a meaning, stop chasing after so many things.